Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakudash, double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone, taught me its truth, and blessings all you sincere laborers out there pushing its truth, and all sincerity and faith and honesty. I have that fellow servant, Kanakala, coming at you once again with this truth. Well, I thank Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, for putting the spirit on me to do another lesson. And it's another lesson through the spirit. I put together very excited to get into this one a little bit, prophecy. It says Russia frigate arrives in Cuba under watchful eye of U.S. Navy. So let's find out what a frigate is. Quick Google search, Wikipedia. Frigate, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, is a type of warship having various sizes and roles over the last few centuries. So, long story short, it's a warship. It says in the 7th century, a frigate was any warship built for speed and maneuverability. The description often used being frigate built. These could be warships carrying their principal batteries of carriage, mounted guns on a single deck or on two decks, with further smaller carriage mounted guns usually carried on the forecastle and quarter deck of the vessel. The term was generally used for ships too small to stand in the line of battle, although early line of battle warships were frequently referred to as frigates when they were built for speed. Alright, so pretty much it's a warship. Alright, it could be armed with guns, missiles, anything. So go back to this article. It says Russian frigate arrives in Cuba under watchful eye of U.S. Navy. Now, that being said, I gotta do another quick Google search. See if this will just pull it up real quick. No map. All right, cool. Map right here. All right, now look, this is where it arrived, Cuba. The issue was why this news is making headlines is clearly you can see the obvious that Cuba is south of Florida. It's like so close to Florida. It's just south of Florida. So that's why this is making headlines. All right, because it's very close to the U.S. So let's go back to this article. On the watchful eye of U.S. Navy. All right, it says a Russian Navy frigate armed with cruise missiles. So this one is armed with cruise missiles. All right, has arrived in Havana Harbor for an official visit, and Russian seamen stretched their legs on shore. U.S. warships idle nearby and quietly observe their counterparts. And the reason why is because it's so close to the U.S., man. All right, and with tensions growing with Russia, putting sanctions on Russia, Second Cold War, as they like to announce it as. All right, it says frigate Admiral Gorshov, armed with Kalibr missiles, left the Russian port of Severomorsk in late February for its months-long voyage, making stops in China, Djibouti, Sri Lanka, before docking in Cuba on Monday. It is accompanied by several support vessels. I'll play this video, see if they got anything on there. Alright. That's pretty much it. You see it coming in. Alright, I'm not going to spend too much time on that, but it says her crew are expected to carry out a program of activities that includes courtesy visits to the chief of the Cuban Revolutionary Navy, as well as touring places of historical and cultural interest, according to Cuban state media. As the Russians sailed into port, America's warships loomed along Cuba's coast with guided missile destroyers USS John Dunham keeping the closest watch just a few miles away. All right, and you see now recently two warships, a U.S. warship and a Russian warship, almost collided. Probably about a week ago. All right. So it says Admiral Gorshov made headlines when it passed by northern Scotland in March. With historical media reports, the ship carried a hallucination weapon on board, a reference of the 5P-42 Filan electro-optic countermeasure device now equipped on warships of her class. All right, the Russian missile frigate's visit to Havana assured to stroke anxieties in Washington, especially as Donald Trump's White House continues to wrangle with Moscow over missile defense and arms reduction agreements such as INF Treaty and New START deal. So here it is, just a simple analogy. Someone you've been beefing with, so to say, comes and visit their friend, the house right across the street from yours. And now it's like, oh, anxiety, like, damn, I've been beefing with this guy. Me and this guy been going at it on Twitter or whatnot, and now he's visiting his friend that just so happens to live right across the street from me. That's going to make you feel uncomfortable because you know the tensions between you and that person. Now they're right across the street from you. So this is basically what happened, just a simple analogy. And the reason why I brought this out, because this is prophecy. All right. Notice they're at Cuba. Russia's at Cuba. And if U.S. History 101, all right, Cuban Missile Crisis. When Russia literally had missiles down in Cuba. It says Cuban Missile Crisis, October 1962, major confrontation that brought the United States and the Soviet Union close to war. All right, so notice it said the Soviet Union. So it wasn't called Russia at the time, it was USSR. It says close to war over the presence of Soviet nuclear armed missiles in Cuba. Let's see what John F. K. had to say before they blew his brains out. Is he gonna play anything? Nah, forget about it. Go back. It says, having promised in May 1960 to defend Cuba with Soviet arms, the Soviet Premier Nikita Khrushchev assumed the United States would take no steps to prevent the installation of Soviet medium and intermediate range ballistic missiles in Cuba. Such missiles could not hit much of the eastern United States within a few minutes if launched from Cuba. No, could hit. I said could not, select it. So it could hit within minutes, which is why you see this is a big issue. All right. In today's news. All right. This happened in 1962. All right. So the United States learned in July 1962 that the Soviet Union had begun missile shipments to Cuba. By August 29th, new military construction, the presence of Soviet technicians had been reported by U.S. U-2 spy planes flying over the islands. On October 14th, the presence of a ballistic missile on a launching site was reported. Soviet buildup in Cuba. You can see here. Here's the legend. All right, let's select it. The legend right here. Can't really see it, but SSM cruise sites. I guess that's a missile. I can't really read what it says, but you see the legend down here. Then you go up to Cuba. See all these missiles. All right, missile sites, ICBMs right here. Right by Florida, man. All right. So that's why this is a big deal today. It says, after carefully considering the alternatives of an immediate U.S. invasion of Cuba or airstrikes of the missile sites, a blockade of the islands, or further diplomatic maneuvers, President John F. Kennedy decided to place a naval quarantine or blockade on Cuba to prevent further Soviet shipments of missiles. Kennedy announced a quarantine on October 22nd and warned that U.S. forces would seize offensive weapons and associated material that Soviet vessels might attempt to deliver to Cuba. So notice, I'm not going to read any more of this. But notice that Slovakia, lost my train of thought. But notice that they're called the Soviet Union. All right, they're not called Russia. So I'm gonna get show you some stuff I pulled up real quick. Matter of fact, I'm gonna get the scriptures first. This is Ezekiel 38, verse 1. Now notice they were called the Soviet Union instead of Russia. All right, it says, "And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him." In that land of Gog and the land of Magog, that's talking about Russia. Now, this is the part that I kind of spent some time on. All right, now, you can clearly see here, Gog, that's Russia. And then right here is Magog, all right? Parts of this is Magog. And, one may say, hold on, that's not, that's not Russia, Magog, But notice they were called the Soviet Union. All right, so you see this region over here, Russia was a lot bigger, all right, than at one point in time. So with that being said, I took the time out to circle certain countries that was a part of USSR, which be the Soviet Union and Russia. All right, so as you can see right here, I was able to find like how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, 7. All right, out of that 15 over here. So yes, this is when it's saying Gog and Magog. That's absolutely talking about Russia, right? So because these 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, kind of these 7 are in the region of Magog, all right, are within that region. So when it's talking about Gog and Magog, that is talking about Russia, all right. So discard that. Remember that, all right. So let's go back to this. It says, "Son of man, set thy face." All right, let me highlight this. This is the point. No, I want to copy. All right. "Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him. And say, Thus saith the Lord, Behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal. And I will turn thee back," all right, "and put hooks into thy jaws." All right, so that's the breakdown for that. The Lord is going to turn Russia back to that Soviet Union, all right, state. When they had missiles, where it is, yeah, when they had missiles right here, ready to go all out war with America, man. All right, which is why NATO was created, because the Soviet Union had became so powerful at the time. So, and they were ready to go head to head with America. All right. So, with that being said, the Lord is turning Russia back to these 1960s and prior. All right. The Lord is turning them back, because once they fell, all right, Russia didn't really have too much beef with America. All right, but the Lord is putting that spirit back, turning them back, putting hooks into thy jaws. All right, put hooks into thy jaws, and I'll bring thee forth, and all thy army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Persia, all right, that's Iran. All right, you see Iran and Russia are coming together right now. That whole military coalition is being formed. All right, this is prophecy taking place once again. We're in the last days, man. It says Persia, Ethiopia, Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet, all of them with their military equipment as well. Gomar and all his bands, all right, and Togomar and all his bands. Togomar and Gomar, that's Syria and Turkey, right? I believe. Yep, I believe it's Syria and Turkey, if I'm not mistaken. All right, correct me if I'm wrong. It says, "In all his bands and many people with thee, be thou prepared, and prepare thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them." So the point was in this lesson, I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws. And this headline right here is clearly that taking place right now. A warship right in Cuba. All right. And at one point in time, that would have been a big no-no, but Russia's flexing its muscles and turning back, man. All right. I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws. All right. So that's why this is taking place. Prior to the 1960s, the Cuban Missile Crisis, now you got a battleship with cruise missiles on it. All right, and I know this is just minor, all right, as far as having actual nukes, a nuclear plant in Cuba, which they could still have, you never know. All right, but I know this is minor compared to a actual nuclear site in Cuba, but the point is, it's taking place, man. The Lord is putting that spirit on him and turning them back, all right, and prophecy is taking place, okay? So with that, man, Lord willing, you ratified. I want to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh Shem Yahushai, that one to sell the apostle, the great millstone, and told me his truth. And blessings all you sincere laborers out there pushing his truth in all sincerity and faith and honesty. Shalom.
Fall for thy sake. Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work, and I have created the waster to destroy.